What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, programmers of all ages? Welcome back to this week's tutorial on Introduction to HaxeFlixel Game Development Programming. In any case, last week's tutorial we added sound to our main menu, which is awesome, and finally brought a bit of well-deserved life into our game to make it less static, especially in the menus. And today we are going to do more or less the same thing in our melee test state. So we are just going to go through the melee test state, make sure everything is in place, add sound, add background music, set up background music so that it changes between different background tracks. In any case, before we start, I would strongly recommend that you go ahead and just grab all the sound and music assets from the GitHub page. Now, I made sure between last week and this week to go through and to check whether all the WAV files have the correct header information. I did that by simply going into Audacity, importing it, and then exporting it as WAV without changing much. In any case, let's get started. So to do that, we open Melee Test State, we scroll all the way to the top, and now we have a few more variables to add. So first one, let me just scroll down a bit so that it's at the top. Private variable called background musics, or just music, and it will be an array of string. Private variable sound effects array HaxeFlixel sound, and I will have to import that. So if I press Control and full stop, we can import it. Nice. Okay, now on our create function, which is the secondary constructor of our class, we can go to underneath where the health bar is. Oh, by the way, this needs to be health to indicate that it is used for health. If it's anything other than health, it might not work as intended. In any case, background music equals a new array. So this array will keep all the sounds of or background music of our game. So we say asset paths dot gameplay music 1. And we can just Control V until we have 5 of them, and then we can just change the name. So it's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Nice. So there are 5 tracks that will change as each track stops. Next up, we say flxg.sound.play music. We say background music. And we want to choose a random one of those songs from the list we just created, or the array, my bad. Then we say random.int between 0 and background music.length -1. Okay, so that will choose a random song to play. Then we say it is a volume of 1, and we do not want it to loop. Next we say if flxg.sound.music.onComplete equals, and it needs to be equal to a function. We say if flxg.sound.music is equal to null. That way we can check excuse me. That way we can check if the music has stopped in the updated function. If it stopped, start a new song, choose a random song from our list and start playing it. Now I will admit you probably won't spend 15 minutes in a level, but this is a nice way to show you as how to do looping of background sounds or background music in your game. Next we need to do something similar to the sound effects. So we say sound effects is equal to a new array. So in that array, it's going to be a fair few. So just stick with me. It's flxg.sound.load asset paths dot fire bolt underscore wav 1, and it does not loop. So next up, if lxg.sound.load asset paths dot ice bolt 1 and false. So now we're just going through and loading all the sound effects that we will be using in this specific level into our game. So we say flxg.sound.load asset paths dot poison bolt underscore wav 1 and false. And yes, this does get really repetitive. Unfortunately, there is not much to be done about it. It's just one of those things that needs to be typed out a million times. And we say, oh well, technically you could use a function that... Well, you could probably go ahead, do something similar to background music, how we did, with just getting the strings and then using a for loop for each one of the background music. Create a temporary variable where we load it and then store that loaded variable in the sound effects thing. But the problem with that is that it might be a bit difficult to track which song is which sound effect is where. So, but it is an idea if you want to not type as much. So shock bolt 1 and false, and I made a mistake. It's not semicolons, it's just normal colons. You get a colon, and you get a colon. Everyone gets a colon. Sound.load asset paths dot player getting hit 1 and then false. False, please. Thank you. Colon. flxg.sound.load asset paths dot skeleton getting hit 1 and false dot flash. flxg.sound.load asset paths dot zombie getting hit 1 and false. False on flash. I swear, after typing this out so many times, I would be able to type flash. Yes. So I just want to add some comments. So this is the 0th one. This is the first one. Second. Third. Fourth. Oh, this is awkward. Fifth. Let me just go through and tab up all of these. And we say this is the 6th one. So this will just help us remember which one to call when we get there. We could probably use like a linked list or something where you have a name connected to whatever is in it. But for the sake of simplicity, we'll just stick to doing it this way. That's a bit more weird. Any case, that's it. All our sounds have been loaded. Let's move on to playing music. So in the update function, the first line. So if lxg.sound.music is equal to null, so if no song is currently playing, flxg. Okay, let's move on to adding sound effects to all our thingies. So the first one is at shoot. Now I just want to make a bit of a change to our player character to make it a bit more easy to understand. So we say under player.hx. So under the player, we have a new class variable called private var projectile type, and it is of type projectile type. Who would have guessed? In any case. Now in the constructor, we want to say question mark projectile type, and then set it equal to projectile type dot firebolt. And what this will do is, if nothing is passed as, so the argument doesn't, if we create a constructor we don't necessarily need to tell the player class what type of projectile it needs to use. It will just default to firebolt. If we do tell it though what type of thing to use, then it will go ahead and use it. So then underneath the health, we have projectile type is equal to projectile type. And then we just need to do some getters and setters. So way at the bottom, underneath the fire function, we say public function set projectile type. We want a projectile type variable of type projectile type. We can just say this dot underscore projectile type is equal to projectile type. And then we want to do something similar with the getter. We say public function get projectile type projectile type. No, never mind. That's void. My bad. It's over here. Projectile type. So it returns a projectile type. Obviously it's a getter, so we say return this dot underscore projectile type. And you could probably not do this dot, but it's habit. So in the shoot function, we want to say, instead of hard coding this, we want to say underscore player dot get projectile type, so that it gets what type of projectile we want to shoot. And now in the switch function, we say player dot get projectile type, so we'll play a sound depending on what type of projectile the player is currently shooting. So we say case firebolt, case ice bolt, case poison bolt, and then finally case shock bolt. Nice. And we say if it's a firebolt, we say sound effects at 0.0 dot play. And we'll just do something similar for all of these. So we can go copy, paste, paste, and paste. And now it's just as easy as saying this play number 1, play number 2, and play number 3. Nice. Next up, let's scroll over to handle monster projectile collisions. So we want to play a sound every time we shoot a monster. So we say switch monster dot get type, and it appears we don't currently have that function, so that will be another update. So let's go over into melee monster.hx. So we do currently have a type, or yeah, we have a type, we just don't have the getters for it. And since zombies won't change into skeletons all of a sudden, we can just say public function get type, and it will return a melee type. And we just say return this dot underscore type. Cool. And that should handle it. So this time we say case if it's a zombie or if it's a skeleton. So if, let me just scroll down a bit. So if we just killed a zombie, we say sound effects at 0.6 and dot play. And then with skeletons, we say sound effects at 0.5 dot play, or element 5, either way. Now if the monster collides with the player, we want to say sound effects at 0.4 dot play, so that we can have a sound for if the player gets hurt. And that should be all. That seems like all the sound effects, and this is starting to turn into quite the big boy class over here. Nice. Okay, let's test it out. So we say cls line test hl-debug. So this will compile and we'll be back as soon as it has successfully compiled, or unsuccessfully, either way. Okay, finished compiling. We have sexy background music playing. We say test, melamap, and the year. Background sound started playing. As you heard, we played the sound as we got hurt. We played the sound as we shot the firebolt. The zombies have a sound, the skeletons have a sound as they die, and everything works. And it feels a lot more fun to play now that they make sounds. And I'm not sure if the audio got captured very well. It may not have been. I'll check in when I edit the recording. Hopefully it played well. Otherwise, I'm sorry, but you should be able to hear it on your side if it wasn't picked up very well. In any case, let me just clear out here. Thank you for watching this week's tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like, subscribe, tell a friend about it, tell your parents, tell your uncles, family members, children. Hell, tell everyone you know. Tell them to start doing game development for the sake of me getting more subscribers to my channel and reaching monetization. And then cue evil laugh in the background. In any case, I hope you have an awesome week. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy your week. Goodbye.